So in the co-main event, we had Jack Della Maddalena beating Kevin Holland by split decision. Now, I've got a lot to say about this fight. Firstly, there was no way that was a split decision. I was paying a lot of fucking attention to that fight. Like, my eyes were glued to the screen during that fight. I get people said it was boring, but I guess I was really nervous for Jack because, I'm a big fan of Jack. And that's got nothing to do with my scoring. If, I'd score this fight. I score fights non-biasedly, like I promise. But like I thought that was a pretty clear 30-27 Jack. Maybe you could arguably give Holland one of the rounds, but I don't think there's any justification you can give that fight to Holland 29-28. And one of the judges did. I had somebody on Twitter try and tell me that they could have been 30-27 Holland. I don't understand it. Jack was landing the way bigger shots. Holland didn't really land anything of note. He did in the third round. He landed like a big shot, but it didn't seem to phase Jack at all. Well, Jack was landing the way bigger shots. He was hurting. He looked like he was hurting Holland a lot more than he was getting hurt. Like if you watch that fight, Jack was landing real big body shots. He's kicking up Holland's leg. It looked like Holland's leg was hurt at points in that fight. Like it looked like his leg was aching a little bit. Maybe he was just playing it up a little bit. You know how Kevin Holland is, but I don't know. It seemed like Jack was landing the way better shots, and maybe I've got to rewatch the fight, but I generally thought that was 30-27 Jack Della Maddalena. I don't understand how you could even arguably give that to Kevin Holland, like at all. But it doesn't, like on record, it's going to say Jack's coming off back-to-back split decision wins, but he clearly won both of them fights, which is just, it's going to be annoying. But I don't know, I don't understand how anyone thinks that Kevin Holland won that fight. I like Kevin Holland too. Like, Kevin Holland's one of my favourite fighters as well. Like, I really like both men. But Jack just, he showed he was just better than Kevin Holland in that fight. Like, clearly, like, Kevin Holland had nothing for him. He even shot a takedown on Jack Della Maddalena, but Jack Della Maddalena just stuffed it. Yeah, he had nothing for Jack in that fight. It was a weird fight, I will say, but I thought it was entertaining. I guess just because Jack was winning, in my opinion, but they got to do something about these judges, because after that, I thought it was clearly 30-27 Jack, but I was still nervous for the judges' scorecard, even though Jack clearly won. But the fact that I was nervous and I was proven fucking right because it was a split decision just says a lot about the state of judging in the UFC nowadays. Like, how anyone, especially like fucking anyone, like when I heard Sal D'Amato, I was like, oh fuck, they've given it to Holland. Like, I literally, my fucking heart dropped when I heard Sal D'Amato at the end of that. I was like, oh no, they're gonna rub him. Like, I've seen people say Jack should have done more if he didn't want it to be a split decision. He was the one pressing the action the whole fight. He was pressing the action. He was trying to get at Holland. Holland was just running away. It was a really weird performance. It didn't seem like the normal Kevin Holland. And my theory on why Kevin Holland looked like that in this fight was I think the shots were just really heavy. I think he felt that power from Jack, and he didn't want to get clipped too much. Like, he still has a really good chin. Kevin Holland's got one of the best chins I've ever seen because he ate some big bombs from Jack Della. But I think he felt that power and he was like, I don't want to get hit by that too much. But he took some really big bombs from Jack Della. Like, took a lot of big body shots, took a lot of big head strikes, big leg kicks. But some elbows as well. Like, Jack landed some really good elbows on Kevin Holland. Like, I don't know. People are saying it was boring. I don't think the fight was too boring. I thought it was fun. It was just they're both real powerful strikers, and they're not going to just sling at each other. Like, they've got to be smart. But I will say, Jack Della Maddalena looked a lot better defensively in this fight. His head movement looked really improved. He wasn't really getting hit too much. He had his high guard up. He looked really good in this fight, and I don't know who I want to see him fight next. But I know he wants to fight again before the year's up, so maybe you could do Jack Della Maddalena versus Vicente Luque maybe, or Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal would be a really fun fight. Jeff Neal lost to Kevin Holland a few years ago in the regional, so Jeff Neal versus Jack Della Maddalena would be cool. Jeff Neal can use that to say, I'm getting revenge on Kevin Holland. But yeah, I see a lot of people shitting on this performance. Like I've actually seen people say that it was a robbery. Like there's generally no way anybody can watch that fight and think Kevin Holland won. Like I don't see it. He was landing pitter patter shots, but nothing of note. While all of Jack's shots were like big bombs in that, he was doing damage. Look at both their faces. They weren't completely banged up, but Holland's face looked. I know people are going to probably comment in the thing saying, "Well, look at Jack's nose. His nose is already like that." Like, I'm talking about during the fight, though. Like, none of them... Like, Kevin Holland's face was more banged up after that fight than Jack Della's. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased. I don't think I am, though. I was watching that fight very non-biasedly. I don't like to be biased in these predictions and breakdowns and post-fight breakdowns. I like to be... Yeah, I don't want people to think I'm being biased for the guys I like or anything. But I thought Jack Della Maddalena clearly won that fight. On the media scores, all of the media had that for Jack Della Maddalena. All of the people who have scored the fight so far on the media pages have given that to Jack Della Maddalena, with the top one being 30-27 Della Maddalena. So I'm not alone on this, which is good to see. Maybe it's just a vocal minority who are going with Kevin Holland to win that. Kevin Holland's real popular, so he's got a big fan base, so a lot of people are just going to be upset that he lost, and they're going to see split decision, and they're going to cry robbery, but, Jack Della Maddalena clearly gets the win there, in my opinion. Good performance. Obviously, it's not as entertaining as most Jack Della Maddalena's fights, but it was a good fight, in my opinion. Maybe on rewatch it won't be, but I was shitting bricks the whole time watching that. I thought either one of them could have knocked the other one out at any moment. But it goes to a decision. 6 in a row now in the UFC for Jack Della Maddalena. He's on a 16-fight winning streak. Started his career 0-2, and now he's on a 16-fight winning streak, which is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how he's went from 0-2 to 16-0. So or 16-2, I should say, but 16 win streak. It just lets you know that if you're ever going to get into MMA and you lose your first fight or two, don't give up. Just don't give up. Look at Jack. He's going to move up the rankings, probably go up to like 10 in the rankings, but yeah, really good performance from him. And Kevin Holland, he'll be back. Kevin Holland's a fun fighter. He'll get a good fight. He could bounce back and fight anybody next. I'm sure he'll probably get somebody ranked next, but Kevin Holland, fucking dangerous guy. Good fighter. But Jack Della Maddalena was just too much for him. Good boxing. And I look forward to seeing what either man does next. I'm glad that fight's over, though, because I really like both of them, so I hated to see that fight. But I'm glad the rightful man got his hand raised. If this fight happened and Jack Della Maddalena shouldn't have won and it should have gone to Kevin Holland, I would have been saying the same thing, but I clearly thought Jack won that, so I'm glad that the right man won. But if you disagree with it, let me know your reasoning in the comments below. If you do think Kevin Holland won, I want to know your rationality for that, your rationale, because damage is the number one scoring criteria. And if you watch that fight, the man who was landing the more damaging shots was definitely Jack Della Maddalena. Did you see that kick he gave him? He fucking kicked him on the ass. That was pretty damaging. Oh yeah, I got to mention that. That was fucking funny. Jack went for a kick and Kevin Holland went for a little spin and got kicked in the ass, and yeah, they were both having a little laugh about that. I'll also say Jack Della Maddalena's head kicks were looking really improved in this fight. I don't think I've ever seen him land a proper head kick, so that was really impressive that he landed that, and it was impressive that Holland took them. I don't think it was completely flush, but still, to eat a head kick like that, Kevin Holland's chin is crazy. He's got one of the best chins at welterweight for sure. I want to see him versus somebody like Chaos Williams next. I know because they'll probably keep Holland in the rankings actually, but I want to see him versus somebody with power, but not very technical. I just want to see Holland. His chin is amazing. Maybe even Luke versus Holland would be cool. That'd be a really good fight actually. But I'd also like Della to fight Luke. So I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, no shame for either man in this. I know people are going to cry robbery and they're going to say it was boring and all this stuff, but I didn't think it was too boring. I thought it was a pretty fun fight, but I got to rewatch it. Maybe I'll rewatch it and I'll be like, fuck, man, this was shit. But so far, I think it was a pretty good fight, but at the end of the day, it's all subjective, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good fight. But yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about. The judging is fucking getting scary though, man. Because I clearly had that 30-27. So the fact that anyone scored that for Holland is like scary. But I guess I'll see. I've seen a few people saying Holland should have won. So maybe I'm the crazy one here. Maybe I'm the biased one. I don't even realize. But thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Actually, I wanted to mention one last point. Kevin Ioli, are you a doctor? Are you a doctor? Don't you ever score a fucking fight on your Twitter ever a fucking again, man. He had the first 2 rounds for Kevin Holland. Kevin Ioli, you are fucking stupid. Okay? I needed to put this in. I needed to add this. I just realized. Kevin Ioli, don't ever score a fight on anywhere ever again, because you don't know what the fuck you're watching. You need to get new glasses or something. Go to Specsavers, get some new glasses, because you don't know what you're watching, man. 29-20, saying the first 2 rounds were for Kevin Holland is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So yeah, I just wanted to add this in. Thanks for watching.